I want to go back. He wants to go back. I want to go back to the farm. Go back far away from home, with a milk pail on my arm. I miss the rooster, the one that used to wake me up at 4 a.m. down on the farm.
I'm Scott Bain. They called me the old farmer. A few episodes back, we showed you how our raised bed gardens were growing and getting better, and that's what we're looking at now, some of the past video that I had done, just to give you a flavor of what it's like. And I showed a paltry little bit of tomatoes and a couple of green beans that came out of there. Since then, it's just absolutely has taken over and is unbelievably just up to the point of just I am surprised that we were able to get as much as what we did. Because of the springtime, we could not do a flat garden. We had to put in raised beds, and I only got one started in time for putting in a few vegetables. As it was late, and I went up to the farmer's market and got some stuff like tomato plants and such, because all the starts that I did, I'm not familiar with doing it in the little thumbnail size dirt plots that you do for seedlings. They pretty much died off. So now we're taking a look. I'm going out to take a look at pretty much the fall results of our planting. And we were fortunate enough to get as much as we did get in. Just kind of looking things over right now and making sure that everything's okay. A little bit later on, the next day or two, we'll open up the screen again and get down inside, but you see that there's marigolds growing in there. We have bell peppers, a couple of tomato plants, and some green beans growing in there. And Mimi, our dog, got used to going on a family walk and stopping off at the end to get a green bean from the garden. And our basil is doing well. And that little tub that you see off there in the upper right corner was the very, very first thing that we got started. And then I built the raised beds. And if you remember, I had to take down a swing set to finish putting the 3 beds in. But they're growing fantastically, the stuff in there. We got tomatoes all over the place. And we're using the example of pulling tomatoes just as they're starting to turn, and I got that idea from Stony Ridge farmer Josh over there. Said just when they start turning, pull them and set them upside down in the kitchen, and they'll ripen up. And he's right, and they taste very good. You can see that what we did, which was a minimal amount, is just flourishing tremendously out here. And we had a little chili pepper off to the right where the hose is going over. And we've pulled all the chili peppers off. I might pull that inside for the wintertime and let it keep going. I like to do that with some plants that can keep growing. And then if there's any blooms, I'll go through by hand and change the pollen out so that they will produce more chilies. Costco's, we like Costco flowers, and we collect the seeds. That's what we did at our other place, and then replanted. And we'll put some more Costco's out, more marigolds. We'll collect the marigold seeds. Just a pretty little flower. We have 2 tomato plants that are in this tub. There's only 1 tomato left, and we've stopped the production of tomatoes, additional tomatoes, on the tomato plants, so there's only 1 left. Yeah, you can see just a little bit, it's going down, and then right there's the 1 tomato. And when it starts to turn a little bit, we'll pull it off, and then I'll pulled both tomato plants out of that bed there. Considering that they were moved by the landscapers and placed in this location, and they were pretty big at the time, they survived quite well, and quite pleased on the results on it. But of course, they didn't turn out as well as what we got in the wooden raised beds. But this is just an overshot. We've kept the hoses in place this summer so that we can water in the landscaping. This is just kind of to show you a little bit of how the grass is coming back. It almost looked like a pasture, but mowing it constantly is starting to bring it back. Is starting to look good. Now, what I'm showing here are the motion sensor lights that help keep the deer and the raccoons out of the garden. Sometimes at night, if I'm up and the lights come on, I'll go outside, and all I have to do is clap my hands gently, and they know that they're not supposed to be there. They go off. They're not scared. They know that I don't want them there. There's some more of the marigolds and the Costco's growing, but it's just a pretty little flower, and the marigolds are supposed to help keep insects away and maybe the deer. I still don't know whether it does it or not, but a marigold is a pretty flower anyway. So this is right outside our screen patio. This is pretty much what's going on, and just thought you might want to take a look at it. So this is the old farmer saying, "Be well."
Meat target is leather jacket skin, followed by pork steak pectorals, pork ribs, a watermelon to simulate lung tissue, more pork ribs on the back, 4 layers of t-shirt on the front, 4 layers on the back, and the whole thing followed by the new and improved high-tech fleece bullet stop. So until then, don't try this at home on what you call a professional.
Down on the farm.